The moment the number crossed 100 million views, fans knew something was coming. It wasn't just another milestone. It felt like a signal. A quiet promise that the story of Ginny and Jayna was far from over. When Poisonous Love first aired, no one predicted the scale of what would happen next. The drama didn't just trend, it lingered. Weeks turned into months, and scenes featuring Ginny and Jayna continued to circulate across social media. Fans clipped their eye contact, their pauses, the moments where silence spoke louder than dialogue. Comments piled up in every language imaginable, all asking the same question: will they ever work together again? Behind the scenes, Ginny and Jayna were experiencing the aftermath in very different ways. Ginny, known for her intense emotional control on screen, surprised many by becoming quieter in interviews. She often redirected praise toward the team, rarely speaking directly about the chemistry that viewers were obsessed with. Jayna, on the other hand, seemed more openly reflective. In subtle comments, she acknowledged how deeply the project affected her, how some roles stay with you long after filming ends. As Poisonous Love continued to climb in views, industry insiders began to notice something else: the fandom wasn't fading. Instead of moving on to the next trend, fans were building something more permanent. Dedicated accounts, long-form analysis videos, emotional essays, and even fan-organized streaming nights kept the numbers rising. By the time the 100M mark was officially confirmed, it felt less like a surprise and more like a victory everyone had worked toward together. What fans didn't see was what was happening privately. According to production whispers, Ginny and Jayna hadn't rushed into another project. In fact, both reportedly turned down scripts that tried too hard to recreate Poisonous Love. They didn't want a copy. They didn't want something safe. Whatever came next had to feel earned. That's why the confirmation of a new 2026 series hit so hard. There was no flashy press conference at first. No dramatic countdown. Just a carefully worded announcement that sent shockwaves through the fandom. Ginny and Jayna were reuniting, not to repeat the past, but to challenge it. A new story. A new dynamic. A completely different emotional terrain. Almost instantly, fans began dissecting every detail. The genre alone sparked debate. Would it be darker? Softer? More mature? Some noticed how both actresses spoke about the project using the same word: growth. Not chemistry. Not comfort. Growth. Industry watchers pointed out something important: the power balance had shifted. Ginny and Jayna weren't just returning as co-stars. They were returning as proven forces. After 100 minutes views, their pairing wasn't a gamble anymore. It was a phenomenon. What makes this comeback even more compelling is the timing. 2026 is shaping up to be a competitive year, packed with high-budget productions and major names. Yet despite all that noise, the Ginny announcement cut through everything. It didn't rely on spectacle. It relied on trust, the trust fans already had in what these two create together. And perhaps that's why this story feels different. This isn't just about a new series. It's about what happens when two performers choose patience over pressure, depth over hype. It's about a fandom that refused to let a story fade quietly. And it's about a partnership that survived the weight of expectations and came back stronger. As filming approaches, anticipation continues to build. Fans aren't just waiting to watch. They're waiting to feel something again. That same ache. That same intensity. That same unspoken connection that once turned a single drama into a 100 million view legacy. And this time, everyone knows it's only the beginning. As more details slowly surfaced, it became clear that this comeback wasn't built overnight. The new 2026 series had been quietly in development for months, carefully shaped around what Ginny and Jayna had learned since Poisonous Love. Sources close to the project hinted that both actresses were involved far beyond their usual roles, giving input on character arcs, emotional pacing, and even the tone of key scenes. For fans, this explained why the announcement felt so intentional, so grounded. What stood out most was how differently Ginny and Jayna spoke about each other this time. In past interviews, there had always been warmth, but now there was something deeper: respect forged through shared pressure and shared success. Ginny described Jayna as someone who listens with her eyes, a phrase that quickly went viral among fans. Jayna, in turn, referred to Ginny as her anchor, someone who made even the most demanding scenes feel safe. Those words alone reignited old discussions. Fans revisited moments from Poisonous Love where their performances seemed to blur the line between acting and instinct. Scenes that once felt spontaneous were now reinterpreted as the result of trust built slowly, take after take. The idea that this trust would now be carried into a brand new story made the anticipation almost unbearable. Then came the first leaked hints about the storyline. Unlike Poisonous Love, which thrived on tension and emotional toxicity, the new series is rumored to explore healing after damage, not avoiding pain, but confronting it honestly. Insiders suggest the characters are older, more guarded, and shaped by past choices. It's a narrative shift that mirrors the actress's own evolution, and fans immediately latched onto the symbolism. Social media lit up again, but this time the conversations felt more mature. Instead of asking if Ginny and Jayna would recreate their old chemistry, fans began asking what kind of connection they would show now. Would it be quieter, stronger, more restrained, and therefore more powerful? What makes the Ginny takeover so remarkable is how organic it feels. There was no forced marketing push, no exaggerated claims. Just two names, one milestone, and the confirmation that they chose to walk forward together again. In an industry where trends move fast and pairings change constantly, that choice carries weight. Meanwhile, the 100M view milestone continues to grow. Even months later, Poisonous Love still finds new viewers, many of whom discover the series because of the 2026 announcement. First-time watchers often comment that knowing Ginny and Jayna reunite later makes the original story feel even more emotional, as if it's part of a larger journey rather than a closed chapter. Behind the scenes, filming preparations are said to be intense but calm. Crew members reportedly describe the atmosphere as focused, almost protective. Everyone involved seems aware that this isn't just another project, it's a continuation of something fans deeply care about. And perhaps that's the heart of this story. Ginny and Jayna aren't returning because of pressure. They're returning because there's more to say, more to explore, more to give to an audience that didn't just watch them, but believed in them. As 2026 draws closer, one thing is already clear: this comeback isn't about chasing numbers. The numbers have already been won. This time, it's about meaning, about showing how far two artists and their audience have come together. And when the first episode finally airs, it won't feel like a reunion. It will feel like a continuation of something that never truly ended. As the countdown to 2026 continues, the weight of expectation grows heavier, but in a way that feels strangely calm. Instead of panic or pressure, there's a shared confidence surrounding Ginny and Jayna's return. Those close to the production say both actresses approach this project differently now, no longer trying to prove anything, but fully aware of what they're capable of when they work together. One quiet but telling detail fans picked up on was how often Ginny and Jayna were seen arriving on set separately, yet leaving around the same time. No stage photos, no public interactions meant to stir rumors, just a steady rhythm that suggested comfort rather than performance. To longtime supporters, this felt intentional, almost protective, as if they were guarding the story before it had the chance to be misunderstood. In conversations leaked from closed-door script readings, both actresses reportedly took long pauses before responding to emotionally heavy scenes. Not because they didn't understand them, but because they did. The characters they're preparing to portray are said to carry scars, regrets, and unresolved emotions that don't explode outward. Instead, they sit quietly beneath the surface, demanding restraint rather than intensity. It's a challenge that suits where Ginny and Jayna are now, both personally and professionally. Fans noticed another shift too. When asked about the 100M milestone, neither actress celebrated it loudly. There were no victory speeches, no exaggerated gratitude posts. Instead, Ginny thanked viewers for staying, while Jayna thanked them for remembering. Those two words alone sparked thousands of reactions. Staying, remembering. To fans, it sounded like acknowledgement, not just of success, but of loyalty. The industry response has been equally telling. Streaming platforms reportedly competed fiercely for distribution rights, fully aware that the Ginny pairing now carries global weight. Analysts have already labeled the 2026 series as one of the most anticipated releases of the year, not because of its budget or genre, but because of the emotional investment audiences already bring with them. What's fascinating is how Poisonous Love has changed in meaning over time. What once felt like a painful story about obsession and damage now reads like a prologue. Fans talk about it as the before, while the upcoming series is being called the after. Not officially, of course, but emotionally. As if Ginny and Jayna are inviting viewers to witness not just another story, but the evolution of one. Online, the Ginny fandom has shifted too. Where there was once chaos and speculation, there's now patience. Fans organize countdowns without demanding updates. They share old scenes not to dissect them, but to appreciate them. There's a collective understanding that this reunion doesn't need noise, it needs space. And maybe that's why this comeback feels so powerful. In an era where hype burns fast and disappears even faster, Ginny and Jayna have done something rare. They let time work in their favor. They allowed silence to deepen meaning. They trusted that if the connection was real, it would survive distance, delay, and doubt. As filming progresses and more pieces fall into place, one truth becomes clearer by the day. This story isn't about reclaiming fame or chasing another viral moment. It's about honoring what was created before and daring to see what it can become now. When audiences finally sit down to watch the first episode of this new series, they won't just be meeting new characters. They'll be carrying memories with them. Memories of a story that reached 100 million hearts and of two performers who chose to return not because they had to, but because the story deserved it. And in that quiet choice lies the real reason this comeback matters. As word continues to spread, the atmosphere around the project grows more reflective than explosive. Instead of loud speculation, there's a sense of shared anticipation, almost like everyone understands that this chapter needs to unfold at its own pace. Ginny and Jayna seem to be moving with that same mindset, careful not to rush what took years to build. Those who've crossed paths with them recently describe subtle changes. Ginny is said to be more grounded, more observant, often staying behind after rehearsals to quietly rework scenes. Jayna, meanwhile, has been described as emotionally open in ways fans haven't seen before, asking questions about intention rather than delivery. It's these small shifts that suggest how deeply invested both are in doing this story justice. There's also been quiet discussion about how this new series mirrors real life more than people realize. Not in obvious ways, but in emotional rhythms. Two people shaped by a past that can't be erased, choosing not to pretend it never happened, but also refusing to be defined by it. That balance between remembering and moving forward feels like the emotional core of what Ginny and Jayna are preparing to show. Fans have picked up on this tone instinctively. Many say they aren't expecting dramatic twists or shocking revelations. What they want is honesty, long looks, conversations that don't end neatly, moments where emotions linger after the screen goes dark. In a strange way, the 100M milestone didn't raise expectations, it clarified them. Viewers now know the power of subtlety these two bring when they're allowed to breathe. Behind the cameras, the creative team is reportedly taking an unusually restrained approach to promotion. There's a deliberate effort to let curiosity grow naturally rather than forcing attention. No rushed teasers, no over-explained character summaries, just the assurance that this story exists and that it's being handled with care. And care is the word that keeps coming back. Care for the characters, care for the audience, care for the legacy that Poisonous Love unintentionally created. Ginny and Jayna are aware that not every successful pairing gets a second chance. Viewers still get to return on their own terms. That awareness shapes every decision they make now.